Good morning, average person. Good morning, Oblivion. Speed. I am Speed. What movie is that from? Is that uh that's from Cars, right? Hey Zhang. Good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Good to see you all again. Welcome back. Welcome back to the internet. All right. Got that. We done that. We done this. What's cooking today? Well, what's cooking today is more of building that package that I've been working on, the secure configuration provider. Um, that's about it. Although I did see apparently there's a new JavaScript framework. Did y'all hear about this? Good morning, Delusional Dev. Did anybody else hear about the new JavaScript framework? I mean, it feels nice in 2026 to have something to talk about other than AI. We can talk about the new JavaScript framework. Did you see the Axios supply chain attack and railway data leak? No, I did not. Let's catch up on some news this morning. Hold on, before we catch up on the news, let me get my workspace a little organized here real quick. Uh, we are doing secure config. And then we'll have a terminal for just the terminal. And then let's add one for open code. Good morning, Block. The Python package, right? What are you talking about? What Python package? Was that an interesting day? Yeah, it should be a normal day. Just another normal day hacking on code, you know? Nothing crazy. The data leak? Oh, that was what the data leak was? We'll have to look. I don't actually know. I didn't hear about it. Average person. There's a new JavaScript framework every 6 hours. It's been a little bit though since we've had one, honestly. It's actually been a minute. Or I feel like it's been a minute. Alright, open code. Put this guy in plan mode. We've been saying there's one every day for the past 2 years without any new ones coming out. It's been a minute since I've seen one come out, but apparently there's a new one, and it's by Void Zero, the people that make V. It's a partnership between Void Zero and Cloudflare. All right, time to catch up on the news. So first and foremost, somebody said that there's an Axios supply chain leak. That seems like it could be impactful. Axios NPM distribution compromised in supply chain attack. Let's see, Hacker News. Axios supply chain attack pushes cross-platform RAT via compromised NPM account. RAT is what? Remote Access Trojan? RAT acronym cyber remote access Trojan. The popular HTTP client known as Axios has suffered a supply chain attack after two newly published versions of the NPM package introduced a malicious dependency. That's pretty wild. I mean, this is a huge this is like a long-running, well-known package. That's crazy. How did that get through? That's like every cybersecurity person's like worst nightmare. I'm guessing they must have released an updated version. 1.14, or is that one of the vulnerable ones? What was the versions 1.14, 14.1 have been found to inject plain crypto.js version 4.2.1 as a fake dependency. Wow. I guess they pulled it, huh? That's crazy.
We're back. I can't talk right now. I'm at work.
No, no worries, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks again, man, for the super chat. That's super, super kind of you. Hello, Minister of Defense. Good to see you. All right, so what happened here? According to Step Security, the two versions were published using the compromised NPM credentials of the primary Axios maintainer, Jason Sayman, allowing the attacker to bypass the project's GitHub Actions CI/CD pipeline. Its sole purpose is to execute a post-install script that acts as a cross-platform remote access Trojan dropper targeting macOS, Windows, and Linux. The dropper contacts a live command and control server and delivers platform-specific second-stage payloads. After execution, the malware deletes itself and replaces its own package.json with a clean version to evade forensic detection. That's pretty clever. Users who have Axios versions 1.4.1 or 0.30.4 installed are required to rotate their secrets and credentials with immediate effect and downgrade to a safe version. I guess I should go. I do have a package that uses Axios. I guess I should probably go check what version it uses. I don't think it uses that version because I haven't. 1.13.6, I think, is what I use. Where's the package lock? Package.
I'd like to say something.
BTW just watched your YT short on the future of AI usage, and I kind of disagree. It is a reality. The vast majority of code is going to be generated by AI in the near future.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think probably in some commercial settings, maybe, you know? But I still think there's going to be those of us who still enjoy writing code and authoring code that are still going to be doing it. Okay, I'm safe. I still think so I'm not going to say that generating code by AI isn't going to be a thing. But I don't believe that people are going to generate code for themselves dynamically on the fly every time they need to solve a problem. Right? So I do believe, obviously, AI code generation is faster than a human could ever type it. I think there'll still be those of us who enjoy to code things by hand. But this idea that like you're never going to have a piece of software anymore, you're just going to interact through an LLM, that I don't really buy. Good morning, King Brownie. Good morning, D. Yes, C#. Yes, we're doing some C# today, or at some point will. We were catching up on the news, though. Apparently, Axios had a vulnerability and installed a remote access Trojan on a bunch of people's projects. So how did he get his GitHub Actions compromised, or his secret, his NPM credentials? How did he get those compromised? This was March 31st. Oh, so this was literally like March 30th. So this was literally hours ago. Huh. According to Step Security, the threat actor behind the campaign is said to have compromised the NPM account of Jason Sayman and changed his registered email address to a Proton mail address under their control. Huh. So his email got hacked? Or his NPM account got hacked? Wonder if he had MFA turned on. It's believed that the attacker obtained a long-lived classic NPM access token for the account to take control and directly publish poisoned versions of Axios to the registry. The embedded malware, for its part, is launched via an obfuscated Node.js dropper and is designed to branch into one of 3 attacks based on the operating system. Here, oh, this is nice. They got a little picture for us. How the attack works. Only change in Axios, one line added to package.json. npm installs plaincrypto.js. Its post install hook runs automatically. This is the post install hook. This caught somebody else. There was like a Claude bot vulnerability or something that exploited the post install hook as well, if I remember right. Setup.js obfuscates strings, detects OS, and contacts command. Mac OS, Windows, Linux, self-destruct, delete setup.js, swap in clean package.json. That's pretty nasty. This last step it does, that's pretty nasty. The downloaded second stage binary for macOS is a C++ rat that fingerprints the system and beacons to a remote server every 60 seconds to retrieve commands for subsequent execution. Huh. Well, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild, man. Got to be safe out there. The internet's a scary, dangerous place, you know. All right. The other piece of news was I asked several of you earlier if you guys had heard that Void Zero and Cloudflare are launching a toolchain. It's called, what is it called? I forget what it's called. It's in alpha or like early access. Void Cloud, that's what it's called. I'm gonna try to get early access. Let's see, Steven, Freeborn. I'm gonna say YouTuber. Company name? Don't have one. Which frameworks or tools do you use now? All of them. Where do you currently host? Self-hosted. Oh, I guess I do host on Vercel. I don't host on Cloudflare. I do host on Render. Biggest pain point? I don't know. I don't really have a pain point. I don't really have a pain point, but I think new frameworks are awesome. Would love to try yours. How many developers in your team? Just one. Please pick me. The latest new submit. All right. Well, I guess we'll wait and see if we get access to it. But apparently, this is going to be their. This is like their Vercel. This is like V's Vercel or Void's Vercel, which will be interesting. Apparently, they have a bunch of Let's see if is there documentation on any of this. There's like a bunch of bindings that take care of all the backing services using Cloudflare backing services. Yeah, I don't see any documentation. I'm interested. Count me in. Void cloud. Wonder if it'll be as expensive as Vercel is. All right. Well, nice to have something to talk about other than AI. Gunheist, do some C#, but in Python, so IronPython. What? There's a C# Python project? I've heard of CCS snakes, but I haven't heard of IronPython. IronPython. Minister of Defense. There are still handcrafted watches, despite there being a long-standing manufacturing process for watches. True. This is very true. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really. I'm so burnt out on the AI thing that I'm not really trying to debate anybody anymore about like where the world is headed or where the world is going. I believe that being knowledgeable about building software is still going to be important today, and it's still going to be important in 10 years. If professionally you have to use AI tools because your job demands it, so be it. Maybe that's all the more incentive to build your own software and build your own product so that you can build it and develop it the way you want to build and develop it. But I'm not terribly worried about it, and whatever comes down the pipe, we will adapt and overcome, or at least I will adapt and overcome. What is this? IronPython is an open source implementation of the Python programming language, which is tightly integrated with .NET. Huh. IronPython can use .NET and Python libraries, and other .NET languages can use Python code just as easily. Interesting. I wonder what people are doing with this. I don't even know what the use case would be here. See documentation. Loading .NET assemblies. Invoking .NET methods. Yeah, I don't know. I would never think I have use case for this, but I guess somebody does. I mean, why would a Python developer want to call C# code? IronPython's mad old. Is it really? Huh. First time I've heard of it. I guess it shows how unplugged in I am.
Did we just become best friends?
Christopher, thanks for subbing. Appreciate you. Can we do some unsafe C#? I don't know how. I've never written any unsafe C#, but you can use the unsafe keyword in C#. Railway leaked sensitive medical data. What a wild day, all within a few hours. Oh, yeah, the railway thing. Sorry, I forgot about that. That was the other thing we were going to look at. Railway data leak. Railway is the hosting company, right? Average person. But the industry is going to get much leaner. Only top performers and going to be able to keep up with it. Yeah, average person, I'm sorry, I just don't buy into all this fear, uncertainty, and doubt that people are spreading about this. I think the industry is going to be what the industry is going to be. I think there's still going to be these jobs. They might look different. They might be doing slightly different things. I think there's never going to be probably a lack or a shortage of work in the world. We have yet to achieve that in the history of humanity. We're all still economic slaves to somebody, and I would imagine that thread is going to continue. So I'm not worried about it. If you're worried about it, I apologize. I hope you can find a way to relieve your anxiety. But I'm over the AI debate. I think the industry will remain largely unchanged, but compensation will drop significantly. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty hard for companies to walk back comps. Jerry, flashback. Would you refer people in your company? I could. Would I refer people for you to hire for my company, or are you asking would I refer like you into my company? Is that what you're saying? I'm happy to refer people into my company, but like I'd want to know you much more than just like your screen name and a YouTube conversation. I'm not vouching for anybody that I don't actually know. Let's see, not worried, but surely we ain't seeing AI taking AS400 jobs. What's AS400? AS400 is a highly secure, reliable, integrated server platform introduced in 1988. Interesting. Yeah. And there's so many technologies I have no idea about. And I'm sure someone's built a 20-year, 30-year long career on them. I think it is becoming much harder to justify paying average devs six figures. The top tier will remain unchanged, but tech salaries were always inflated. Huh. Interesting take. Yeah, I doubt you see salaries come down. Maybe you don't see salaries go up as much, but I doubt you see a deflation. Jerry Flashback, do you know how to start a service-based IT company? I would guess the way you start a service-based IT company is by offering your services, your IT services to other people, and then taking their money for rendering said service. I think people make starting a business too complicated, you know? Like the accounting, the contracts, all that stuff. That's why you have lawyers, that's why you have accountants, right? You go to those people and you hire an accountant to get your books in order and you hire a lawyer to figure out what contractual pieces you need in place, right? But the first thing is you got to get some customers. That's the first thing. King Brownie, I hope you're right. Yeah, I don't think you'll see much of a deflationary event. You may not see salaries go up, but I don't think you're going to see all of a sudden like people are going to be like, "Ah, I'm cutting your salary in half." I disagree. I think devs should have a plus 300% to keep up with Canadian inflation. Well, nobody ever thinks they're overpaid. Everyone always thinks they're underpaid. That's like a law of nature. That's like gravity. I'm writing a 2D game in Zig from scratch. So a custom engine. I'm not using AI at all, but I do use it as Google and as an advisor. You can use AI to improve your manual coding. For sure you can. This I believe Minister of Defense. And actually, we just made a little bit of change to my workflow yesterday, or was it the day before, where we had Bob Knoll, one of my chatters, one of my very nice chatters. He recommended me because the workflow I was using was I was having Gemini, their chat interface up, and I was basically putting context about my code into Gemini. And so his suggestion was bring OpenCode down, switch that over to Gemini, and then put it into plan mode, right? So that way I can still have conversations with the AI, kind of like what you're saying, from like an advisory or like a pair programmer standpoint, but still retain control over the authorship. And that's been pretty nice the last couple of days. I've been using it like that, and having the additional context just ambiently available to the model is really nice. So I agree with you there. But it sounds like a cool project too. I've never built a game engine, so and I've never written any Zig, so it sounds like a cool project. Where can I apply for a remote job? US dollars 90 rupees. I don't know what that means, the last part of your sentence, but as far as applying for remote jobs, the last job search that I did in last year in the summer, I just applied on LinkedIn and Indeed, and then I just filtered the roles to remote roles and just start applying. I don't think there's like a big secret here, you know? Kajani finally made a list of parts and prices for my airsoft. There's a reason we don't calculate that. I'm crying internally. Well, we were yesterday on stream, we were looking at how much it would cost to run local AI models. And then I spent the rest of the day configuring different variations of different PCs and looking at how much they cost. And I was crying as well internally. Everything is expensive, man. It's so expensive. And now we've got average person over here saying we're all going to get our salaries cut in half. It's just, gosh. Somebody say something to make me feel better, not worse. Can someone please explain to me how Zig is the best paying jobs? I didn't realize Zig was the best paying jobs. Is that actually a thing? I can't imagine there's very many Zig jobs to begin with. I don't think people will get salary reductions. I just think they'll be laid off and replaced with cheaper devs. And after a few years, salaries will effectively be lowered. Huh. I mean, that's one way to do it, I guess. But the thing is, it's kind of these things are kind of antithetical, I guess, King Brownie, because or not antithetical, but they're kind of opposite predictions, right? So I think we've all said on stream in various conversations that the people who do the best with AI tools are experienced software developers, right? So as a company, if you want to leverage AI tools for the greatest gains in productivity, you would want to employ the most experienced engineers possible, which theoretically means that there actually should be an increased demand for those folks, not a decrease. Unless your belief is that AI will eventually become so good that you don't need an experienced developer to steer the AI, right? So, like, to me, it depends on what your view of the world is. If your view of the world is that AI is eventually going to make having an experienced operator not relevant, then I guess I could kind of see that play out. I don't really share that view of the world, but my view of the world would be if AI continues to depend on an experienced operator, those experienced operators would be increasingly expensive. It would be akin to like in like a manufacturing setting, this would be akin to like wanting to hire the best machine operator to maximize the output of the machine that you installed in your factory. Kind of the same idea. I wonder, how does it work from code to software? Hey, Mr. Nobody, I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. Like Word, for example, or Autodesk, 3ds Max. I'm not familiar with any of those pieces of software and their internals. If I could earn in dollars or pounds, I will be rich in India in no time. Nice. Well, I hope you get a remote job, man. RAM is super expensive. It is super expensive. Somebody told me that the other day that maybe 3-4 months ago that Micro Center wouldn't price you RAM over the phone. You had to go to the store to get pricing on RAM. Yeah, Kajani, I don't think I would spend $800 on a BB gun, but I guess what they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There aren't any Zig jobs. Yeah, Stack Overflow survey. Really? Would you mind linking that, average person? The Stack Overflow survey about the Zig pay? That's news to me. I was there on the local AI combo though. Oh, you were? Yeah, sorry, Kajani. Apologies. What are the UI tools you are using now? Most of the UI I've done recently has all been in Vue for web development. King Brownie, I still think experience will become more important. I just think the economics of it changed significantly. I don't think I necessarily agree with this. Let's see, but in reality, I haven't seen much correlation between experience and proficiency in this field. Are you serious, average person? You haven't so your experience has been that people who have been in the industry longer aren't more proficient than people who are newer? That's crazy to me. The thing is with AI, when you just let it run amok, it has dangerous side effects. I'm living through poor AI use now. It created brittle systems. Minister of Defense holding it down for us all. Tyler, how much have you been vibe coding? Not at all. Not at all. I've been using OpenCode a little bit the last couple days in the terminal to have conversations with, but vibe coding has been basically zero. Vibe coding, the biggest problem with vibe coding for me is it doesn't make me want to code more. It makes me want to code less, which I don't like. So I've been avoiding it. Hold on, before I move on, the King Brownie thing about the economics, I think my experience is that people who are more experienced get more leverage out of AI tools. AI tools are going to make experienced software engineers less available, and therefore you're going to have two effects that are going to drive up the value of a senior software engineer. You're going to have companies who are investing heavily in AI technologies that need operators to get the most out of them. And then, so you're going to have an increased demand for those folks. And then at the same time, AI is going to drive the supply of experienced software engineers down, which is going to result in even more pressure on the value of senior engineers upward. I think that's what will likely happen. Vibe coding is for the weak. Embrace the grind. Well, it's not necessarily for the weak. If you like to vibe code, or even if you like to do like agentic development, like I say, go for it. You know. Hello, Vinay. Good to see you. So we kind of agree. The average dev will make less after that squeeze. Yes, I could see I guess the average maybe goes down, not goes down, but remains. So I don't think, I think it's unlikely that you're going to see salaries decrease. I think you're likely just going to see them stagnate maybe at that average or middle point. I got to blow my nose real quick. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the average. I just don't agree with the more negative view that you have, King Brownie, about people getting laid off and rehired and stuff. There are a lot of people on LinkedIn arguing that experience doesn't matter. People with no experience are calling themselves devs and saying experience doesn't matter. Yeah. I mean, they're allowed to think that, right? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. But I just don't necessarily agree with that. Average person finally found it. Stack Overflow 2023. That looks like a safe link. Oh, this is the Zig thing. Okay, so first off, this is a little old. This is 3 years. Is there a newer one? Come on, there's got to be a newer one, right? Or do they decide to stop doing this because AI was threatening them? This is 2025. More than 1/3 of respondents use AI-enabled tools to learn AI this year. Most developers have been coding for 10 plus years. That's surprising. I would not have guessed that. I bet this number looks even worse in another 5 years, I'll bet this is even this 1 to 5. I'll bet this thing drops. I think a lot of people have been scared away from the field because of AI. GitHub is a more desirable collaboration tool than Jira. So where was the pay? Best paying? Or I guess that was on the 2023 survey. But maybe they asked the same question in 2025. Best paying? Huh. Salary? There we go, salary. Yeah, Zig does have the bet. That's crazy. So let's see, do they have that in 2025 survey? I would have not guessed any of these languages. Zig, Erlang, F sharp. I think I can kind of would have maybe guessed Ruby. This to me this seems like they I don't doesn't this seem weird to you guys that these are the languages that are making the most? That seems weird to me. PowerShell? Is PowerShell above JavaScript in 2023 in terms of median salary? Yeah, by a lot. Huh. I don't know. I'm skeptical of that data. but, but, you know, what are you going to do? Okay, so let's see if there's a 2025 version. Salary. There we go. Salary and experience by developer. They grouped this different. They didn't do it by language this time. Looks like they did it by position, by developer type. Oh, those senior execs, they're earning that big money, huh? That's crazy. 2023 has it, but not a new version. Yeah, that would have been cool if they had broke it down again the same way. F sharp's hella overrated. You should try vibe coding for 100 hours and see how you feel about it. But I've done about 20 hours of it, Tyler. And after those 20 hours, I wanted to change careers. So you're saying after another 80 hours, then I'll see the light. Vinay just handed over a logic for a feature to Copilot, which I was working on from yesterday. Copilot wrote it spot on. Now I can focus on other user stories. Sometimes I doubt myself for using Copilot. No, Vinay, you don't need to doubt yourself, man. If you like to use AI tools, there's nothing wrong with it. Especially if you're doing it in a professional setting. I feel like in a professional setting, using AI tools is going to become more and more expected, and I think it's also going to be more and more pressured, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. I mean, and the thing is, like AI, that may be where AI is best suited for use cases, like when you don't give a shit whole lot, like and you don't care that much about the code that you're writing. Just have Copilot, write it for you and be done. Get your boss off your back. Tyler, I just did, and it's actually kind of terrifying because my past self, after 4 years of learning to code, could have done this too. I'm not sure what you mean, Tyler. You mean after vibe coding for 100 hours, you feel threatened by AI, or I'm not sure. Gaffa, how did the finance app go? So it's still running. It's actually in production right now, and it's just basically collecting data at the moment. But so far, it's been working. So I don't want to actually show you the transaction data, but it's working. I've got a counter in Seek that keeps track of the number of process syncs that I've had in the last 7 days. So it looks like since deployment, we've had 41 syncs. And it's probably been deployed for about 30 days, maybe a little bit more. I'm currently waiting on the invoice from plaid.com to figure out how much they're actually going to charge me. I think the invoice is going to end up being 30 cents for one connected institution. But once I get that invoice, then we're going to switch back over to finish building out a lot of the functionality in here. Like I still need to add balance tracking. I still need to display like charts and visualizations for the data. I still need to figure out a way to share the accounts between my wife and I's user account. So I'll need to implement that. So we got a little bit of work to do, but I didn't want to invest any more time into it until I knew it wasn't going to break my bank to operate it. But it's definitely feels nice to be able to have a way to be in control of my financial data, which is kind of nice. I'm still using YNAB as a backup for now until I get everything migrated. But once I get everything migrated, then I'll just use this and cancel my YNAB subscription. Martian, bro, what you made can made using Copilot. Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, that's okay. How do you manage your wildcard DNS? What do you mean, average person? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. I feel like my 4 years of learning to code were wasted. Oh no, man! I don't think your 4 years of learning to code were wasted. I'm guessing what you were able to do with AI was probably somewhat predicated on your ability to communicate to AI what you wanted, right? And you probably wouldn't have been able to do that as effectively without learning to code. And you wouldn't have been able to judge what the AI outputted, right? Without your knowledge. So I don't think it's a waste. Average person subdomain.domain.com. You mean how do I create subdomains? Yeah, they're just CNAME DNS entries that point back to the. In my case, a lot of the ways I set things up is like one domain is for one machine, and then the CNAMEs for the subdomains just point back to the base domain. And then on the actual server itself, Nginx takes care of routing the traffic to the appropriate place. Good to see you, Max. Hope you're doing well. All right, where did we leave off yesterday? I don't actually remember. I think the last thing I did was the machine ID key. Crypto provider, yeah, this thing. Machine ID key generator. Make sure all my tests still passed. All right, test still pass. Okay, so let's do machine ID key provider. Excuse me. Oh, I forgot to look at the railway leak. Damn it. Okay, so the machine ID provider. Let's do some tests for that. So we'll have private, read-only, machine ID, key provider. This will do system under test. This. Oh my goodness. Since I started running servers at home, I have had 3 IPs. This was the first time any part of the IP was a 0. I found that weird because I've never had an IP with a 0 anywhere somehow. Yeah, that I don't think I have either. That does seem kind of weird. Alright, and this is going to take a private read-only mock machine ID key generator, mock key generator. I don't know why my code actions aren't working in this test project. Okay, and then this would go here. And then the first test is going to be get public void get key, and then called. It should return 32-byte key. So then we'll do underscore mock key generator dot setup. Probably don't need that on the new line. The mock is going to go to m dot get key, no, get ID. Make this static. And then we'll just make it return some random stuff. Then we'll do var provider equals new. Oh, we already have a provider, so we can just call var result equals system under test dot get key. And then we're going to do result dot should dot be, actually result length dot should dot be 2. Now none of this is implemented, so we can go back to not that guy. Generator, no, provider. Machine ID key provider. And this will be a public machine ID. Actually, we can use a primary constructor. This will take an machine key ID generator. And then we'll say private read-only generator equals generator. Not saying last two obvious reasons since it's my IP. iSpooky. Steven, hi. Steven, hi. Steven, hi. Oh, that's my emoji. I need to figure out if I can render emojis in the terminal. That'd be kind of cool. Your unified chat doesn't render Twitch emojis? No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does not. It doesn't do super chats either. I need to figure that out. I need to do super chats, cheers, emojis, all that stuff. I literally just got this working though Friday night. Last Friday, I stayed up till like 2 a.m. finishing getting this term chat working without any vibe coding. I might add. Although someone's gonna say like, it doesn't matter anymore. We have LLMs. Who cares that you can code, Steven? Who cares? iSpooky, it looks really nice. How did you make it? So I made it with Termina. So I have to admit, like the scrolling, particularly the scrolling widget thing that you see, this is actually from a framework. So I did not implement this part of it. This is just a component from their framework. So I can't take credit for that aspect of it. But I ended up using a framework that's relatively new in the C# world. It's called Termina. Termina. It's a reactive TUI framework for .NET. It's built around model view model architecture, which is kind of interesting and strange. The thing that's actually the view logic is what took me the longest to implement, because I excuse me, had never built a TUI before, and this was the first time I had worked with this library, and so it took me a lot of trial and error to figure out exactly how to use it. But yeah, there's not really any other good options in the .NET space right now for TUIs. There's a couple older libraries, but like they're older, and they look pretty dated and don't give you a ton of control over making them not look dated. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I would recommend it. Termina. But that's how I built it. And then the rest is all just normal C# code, like normal OAuth with Twitch, normal OAuth with YouTube, all that regular old code. How does the connection to Twitch and YouTube chats work? Do they expose WebSockets? So Twitch does WebSockets. They used to do IRC, but now and they still, I think, support it, but they push everybody to use their WebSockets. So that was actually, the Twitch chat was really straightforward. YouTube does chat through two different ways. YouTube does chat through a HTTP endpoint that supports basically polling, just your basic. They actually do it a little bit smarter. So what they do is you make a request to their endpoint, and then in the response, they tell you how many milliseconds to wait until you should poll again for updated messages, which is, I think, nice that they kind of dictate to you when to call instead of you having to sit there and just guess, like, oh, every 100 milliseconds I'll check for messages, or every 2 seconds I'll check for messages, or whatever. But the more efficient way, and the way they recommend, if you're willing to take on the challenge, is to use RPC, to have a server connection where they push the messages to you. And that's what I ended up doing. It's a little bit more complex because you have to copy a protobuf file from their documentation into your code base, and then you have to use whatever your toolchain, your language's toolchain is for protobuf, to generate the client based on that protobuf definition. And then you have to use RPC to make the connection, which every language seems to have its own gRPC tool chain. But it was a fun. It's been a really fun project. It took me way longer than I had hoped it would, just because I was working on other things at the same time. I've been really bad about that the last couple months, starting like 6 projects simultaneously, and then none of them get the attention they deserve. But it was good. It's so when they're under higher level load, they can throttle everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's smart, you know? It's smart. Good morning, Inspire. Good to see you. I used to do a lot of, which also on the term chat thing, if you guys are interested, I will publish this, and if you guys are interested, I'll let you know when it's up. But it does work like a client, so you can connect to any public stream on YouTube or Twitch. You don't have to just be. It's not just a tool for like somebody who does streaming. So if you guys are interested, I'll let you know when once I get it to a place where it's published somewhere where you can get the executable. But you can basically use it as your own personal chat client in the terminal. I've been using it to watch Tid the Tapman streams the last couple days, and I'll probably use it whenever Primogen goes live this week. Yeah, I'm interested to see it. I'm curious about the RPC code. I've never used it before. So yeah, I can show you the code. I have that published. But yeah, I'll share it with Discord. Let's see, firm chat. But the RPC code isn't the gRPC code. Most of it's not code that I wrote, except for the logic for the specific to my application. But you can see, where is it? I think it's in here. Yeah. So this is the protobuf file, and this is what you copy from their documentation. Right, so the idea behind protobuf obviously is it's like a common way to define server client contracts, and then they have a bunch of tools published around it that allow you to generate the actual programming language code that you would write based on this. So instead of handwriting it, you just have a tool chain generate it. And so in .NET, the libraries that you use are google.protobuf, and then the grpc.tools, and then this is the client you use to connect with. So once you have those packages installed, and once you include your protobuf file here in your CS proj, whenever you build the project, it will actually generate that code for you. And then you can leverage that code in your own code by bringing in the proper using statement and then actually getting references to it. So you can see like this model definition right here should be generated code. So obviously I did not handwrite any of this, right? So this is all just generated by that tool chain. So it's not terribly difficult once you figure it out. I had never worked with it before, so I had to do a bunch of Googling to figure out like what are the packages I use and where do I put my protobuf file and how do I include that in my project at build time and all that stuff. Yeah, but very, very fun project. What on earth is that string concat? Honestly have no idea. I have no idea what it is. I don't know, man. The tool chain generates it. My test pass, okay? I'm sure we could point Copilot at it and it could explain it to us. Max, not gonna lie, sat here right now. I can't remember simple Python. I bet if I go to my PC and try coding something, I'll remember how to. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think coding's kind of like riding a bike in some ways. At least that's been my experience with languages, is that oftentimes coding is like riding a bike. Like if I don't use TypeScript for a little while, and I've written a lot of C Sharp, or maybe even something further afield, like a lot of Go. Whenever I go to write TypeScript, it kind of feels foreign. I think that's normal. It's a use it or lose it type of thing. I think a lot of knowledge is that way. I just spent weeks studying for an AWS exam, passed it, now never want to see AWS again. Well, congratulations on passing your exam, man. That's awesome. I imagine, though, you're going to see a lot more AWS in your life if you just took an exam for it. Yeah, unfortunately, I will. We use it at work. Nice. You, you and a lot of other people. You and a lot of other people. What am I? Oh no, machine generator. Dot get ID, and then we'll do var at bytes equals encoding dot UTF-8. This will be machine ID. And then we'll return a hash of that. So we'll say SHA 256 hash. Does this not have static? Doesn't this have a static hash data method on it? Maybe I'm making that up. SHA 256 hash data. Huh. Using system.security.cryptography. Oh, is it behind the create method now? Yeah, it looks like it's behind the compute the hash of data. Huh. I don't know why that does not contain a definition. Oh, I wonder if it's because I'm targeting .NET Standard. Is that why? Let's see. Yeah, it's only in .NET 5. It's only in .NET 5, so SHA 256 equals... And then we'll do SHA dot hash. Compute hash. Called I dispose. Oh, okay. Oh, goodness. I forgot a semicolon. Deference of a possibly... There we go. Do I work remotely or in person? I am one of the lucky few who get to work remotely still. Not like lucky few at my company, but like lucky few in the world, it seems like, you know? Because it seems like so many people are going back to the office. Or so many companies are going back to the office. Occasionally, I do work. So I live in the same city where my company is headquartered, which isn't the case for everybody in our company. So it is kind of nice. I can go to the office if I want to. Um, but I rarely ever do. I probably go like once a quarter, maybe. I hope I never. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I hope I never have to. Um, I hope I never actually have to have a job where I have to be in office again, unless it pays like significantly more money. Good morning, Inderesh. AWS crew checking in. Nice. What's your monitor setup? So I have a 27-inch monitor in front of me, and then I have another 27-inch monitor to the right, which is what I play games on. And then I have a ultra wide, I don't even know what it is, 30 something inch monitor on the left here that's right below the camera. And the ultra wide is usually where I have like Twitch and YouTube and my stream software. And I've been using it to like put documentation. Like I was just looking at Microsoft Docs over here. It's kind of nice to be able to reference documentation off to the side like that. That's my general setup. You know, I just noticed my streamer bot timers I don't think are working. Huh. Wonder why. So definitely not a one monitor person. Yes, not a one. There's a guy I work with who only uses his laptop monitor. Can you believe that? That's insane. That's insane. Why would you only use your laptop monitor? That's crazy to me. Hey, Steven, not sure what area you're working in programming. I'm currently in web dev full stack because what web dev isn't? But my original love is backend. Nice, very cool, man. Yeah, that's awesome. So I personally, my day job is as a quality engineer. So I just do the manual and automated testing for a web app. In my personal development, though, I really enjoy building web applications. Although recently I built a native desktop application using Rust, and so now I'm kind of I still enjoy web development, But the one thing about web development is it kind of becomes a little painful whenever you want to deploy something or sell something to other people, because a lot of times when you build a web application, you have obviously you're going to need a server, right? And that server may or may not also include your client code. But that means you have to then deploy that somewhere to a server to host it, and then expose it right over the internet to this person, and basically take care of providing the compute to run this thing. Obviously, you could Dockerize stuff and have people do Docker containers and stuff locally, but then that means they need to be aware of what the fuck Docker is. But so I'm right now. I'm kind of pilled by this idea of like building software and being able to package it up into a single executable and just hand it to somebody and be like, here's the piece of software. Have a nice day. So I've been building a lot of things around that model of application development recently. Like I built this term chat thing, which is a single file executable type program. I built that Rust application. I think Go would be interesting to explore this idea. There's a piece of software out there called Pocketbase that uses Go to build, and it's a single file executable, but it's a single file, but it's basically a backend as a service in a single file, which is really, really cool. So I'm trying to personally, I'm trying in my free time, I'm kind of building things around this idea of like, what's a piece of software I can build and sort of sell as a one-time transaction, that doesn't require this ongoing overhead of like maintaining a web server and dealing with hosting and all the stuff that's just a necessary evil to sell somebody a piece of software. But yeah, web development I guess will always have a special place in my heart though. That's where I learned how to program and code and build stuff. I want to get a second monitor, but once I do that, I kind of need to get a keyboard too, since I'd want to use the bigger screen as a primary. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Brr, 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 brr. Great day, everyone.
Hello, Viably Subtle. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. Very kind of you. My sleep schedule is messed up because I don't need to be up in the morning and I still catch these streams. Well, thank you for trying to make time to hang out with us. We appreciate you. Finger slip. My question is, do you think that I might work in systems programming? I think if you know how to, if you've come this far and you can do full stack web development, I think the sky's the limit on what you want to do. You just pick the thing you want to focus on and build skills, start interviewing for jobs, right? I think you're obviously more than capable intellectually of being able to do it, right? It's just a matter of going and pursuing it. Kiko Shadow, what's your opinion on pirating? Do you think in recent days it's been getting popular or is it dying? So when you say pirating, do you mean like pirating music, pirating movies, that sort of thing? I think my personal opinion is I'm not gonna do it. I'm not super eager to like get myself into hot water with any legal. Like I never want to be in trouble with the law, so I'm just gonna avoid it. If there wasn't the threat of prosecution for doing it, maybe I would partake. Um, but I also somewhat enjoy being able to say that I support the creators that I either consume their content or use the stuff they make. It's kind of nice to be able to say I can support it. But I also understand, like, economically, for some people, they're just not able to support it, and that pirating sometimes is kind of a means to an end for them. But that's I guess my personal opinion is like, I don't fuck with it mainly because I don't want to get in trouble. And then second, it's also kind of nice to be able to say you're a supporter. To be honest, I like the DevOps side. I love Go. If it had some types, I'd always use it and forever. What do you mean Go? If Go had some types, Go has types. Go is all statically typed, and they have generics now, which I guess for a long time they did not have generics. Kiko, yeah, good answer. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Enum, sorry. Oh, you like enums? I'm not a big fan of enums myself. Um, I've come to this place even in my C sharp code where C sharp has historically largely been, that's a very idiomatic way to write C sharp is with enums. In most of my code recently, I don't even use enums there. If I do have something like an enum, I just create a static class with constant values that are just strings. That's been my practice lately. I think some types is the mathematical term. Oh, then I have no idea what that is. Some types. Let's see if Jib and I can explain this to me. What does it mean for a programming language to have some types? I don't have so my degree is in biochemistry, so all this stuff that I've learned about software engineering is all self-taught. So these harder core computer science stuff is not in my wheelhouse, but I'm always happy to learn. It's one of the benefits of streaming is people teach me. Let's see, at its core, a sum type is an OR type. To understand it, it helps to contrast it with something you use every day, a product type. You can create a standard class or struct. You are creating a product type, a struct with a string field for a name, an integer field, or native sum types. In Rust, sum types are implemented using the enum keyword. The most ubiquitous examples are built-in options and result. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's the whole you're talking about like when you write Go, you have to always type like air. What is it? It'd be like value air. Do some operation, and then you have to come down below it, and you have to say if air does not equal nil, or if air equals nil, right? That sort of thing. Yeah, that is messy and ugly. Yeah, that was one thing when I was learning Go. I said that I kind of did not care for it. Was all these if checks. Structural sum types. TypeScript approaches this structurally rather than nominally, using discriminated unions. I love this feature of TypeScript. Apparently, we're getting this in C sharp. So C sharp is going to get discriminated unions, which will be really, really awesome. Oh no, where did it go? There we go. Well, this is in the rejected category. There we go. Yeah, apparently we're going to get discriminated unions at some point. Where's the latest meeting notes? 2025? Which I think will be cool. I want to know at compile time what the value is. That tickles my brain. Yeah, super nice. Akrita, bro, just go to med school already. SWE isn't worth it anymore. Dude, I'm still programming pilled, Yeah, I don't think I want to become a doctor. I looked into that route. You know, that's what I originally thought I was. That's why I have a degree in biochemistry, was because I thought I wanted to be a doctor. But after working in the ER for 3 years in college, I was a medical scribe, so I got to see kind of all the medical stuff up close and personal for many hours every week. I just decided wasn't for me. I think some type, let's see, yeah, it's used interchangeably, but some types is more accurate. Ah, I've never heard some type before. Very cool. Learned something new today. Anyways, cheers, mate. You too, man. Cheers, mate, to you as well. Let's see, mock instance one. Oh, see you, King Brownie. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Come back anytime. You're always welcome here. And this is going to be let's do mock instance one. Oh goodness. Okay, there we go. All right, what else should we test? We should probably make sure that we get different hashes for different inputs. So let's just do we can actually just do this. So we'll say var input 1 input 1 var input 2. We can say first we return input 1, and then we return, let's see, this should be setup sequence. This should be returns input 1, returns input 2, and then we'll call this twice. We'll say result 1 should not be equivalent to result 2. Wonderful. So I think those are the only 3 tests we need. We probably should also add one that just checks to make sure we're using the right hash. I don't know. So that we know if we do change the underlying, we can do that. Let's do fact public void get key when called. It should use SHA-256 hash. Let's just do raw ID. And we'll do var expected hash equals var. Well, actually, hold on. We should be able to use the newer. So we should be able to say SHA-256 dot hash. It's going to be from using system dot cryptography dot security dot cryptography. Hash data. Give it raw ID. We have to say get the bytes. Encoding dot UTF-8. Get bytes. Using system.text encodings. I thought it was encode. Could have sworn it was encoding. Oh, so that's just in system.text. And then we do UTF-8. And then we'll say var results equals, we'll do var underscore mock key generator setup static m.getID that returns raw ID. Do system test.key. And then we'll do result.show.be to expected. Okay. All right, so that's our key generator and our key provider. And now we need to go on and actually implement, I think, the encryptor. I guess is what we can call it. Hello, Sharat. Good to see you. Yo, you here? Good to see you here. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for... I'm out of coffee. I need to go get more coffee, apparently. So let's go ahead and implement the encryption and the decryption logic. We'll just use the AES. Encryption that C# provides. Advanced encryption standard. That sounds so official. Advanced encryption standards. So I already have an interface stubbed out for this. So let's go ahead and just implement that. Probably should also pull this interface into a separate class. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. There you go, yeah, move type. So let's do, we're gonna call this our AES crypto provider. We're really leaning into the provider in this project. Configuration, secure cryptography. And then we'll say public. Doesn't this seem to be public? This I think can be internal. It definitely can be sealed. But I don't know if the outside world needs to know about this. I guess somebody might want to use it. I don't know. We'll start it as public, but we'll definitely seal it. I don't know. I kind of feel like it should be internal. Like, is there a good reason for me to expose that to the rest of the world? Probably not. If they want to use their own crypto provider, they can just implement their own crypto provider. And then we'll come down here and we'll say AES crypto provider S. See, it's weird. It recognizes that the folder structure, that this isn't right, but when I try to do code actions, the code actions fail. And I don't understand why. And it makes me sad. That's AES crypto provider test. Good morning, Brian. Any specific reason for the live stream to be vertical? Just reach, Brian. That's the only.
Kelsey says, "You are weird, and I don't understand why, but it doesn't make me sad."
Good morning, honey. Hope you're doing well. I'll be up there soon. Although you could, if you wanted to, you could bring me a cup of coffee. I'm out of coffee. Yes. Good morning as well to you. Yeah, the specific reason for the live stream is just reach. So there's a horizontal stream on Twitch. Um, if you're interested in that, let's see.
Did we just become best friends?
Twitch. Arn, thanks for the sub. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's a horizontal link on Twitch. But yeah, just for reach. And I don't know, it seems like maybe that's changed because my viewership over the last 2 or 3 months has gone down, or maybe my streams have just not been as good. But streaming vertically has helped me grow my channel quite a bit over the last year, so I've just stuck with it.
Kelsey says I don't know how to use that machine, so I can't bring you coffee.
Okay. Okay. You're one of the smartest people I know. You can, I know you know. I know you can figure out how to use an espresso machine. Brian, thanks. Of course, yeah. I guess people tend to drive away from Twitch because of way too many ads, even though you might not put many ads the platform does. Yeah, I think a lot of people often complain that they get hit with ads on Twitch, but I appreciate those that watch the ads because I did finally get enough followers on Twitch that they actually now pay me some of the ad revenue. So if you do get an ad on Twitch and you watch it, I appreciate it. Yeah. I think I made like $80 from Twitch ads. Or maybe that was from subs. I don't know. Let me look. I think I can look that up. But I appreciate people who support the channel.
Kelsey says I think our week away hurt the numbers.
Maybe. But that's okay. I will happily sacrifice my streaming career for my nephew and niece. Let's see, monetization. Affiliate. I think that's what Twitch calls it. Affiliate is what they call it. I don't know how to use any of this stuff. Yeah, I've made $17 so far this month from people who watch ads on Twitch, so thank you. Thank you for watching my Twitch ads. Holy moly, 80 buckos. Yeah, I know, right? Don't change on me now. I know, right? Have you always done C# and CLI, or did you use Visual Studio originally? So I never really was a big Visual Studio guy. The only place I really use Visual Studio regularly is at work. We have a very large .NET solution at work, and so I just think, use the right tool for the job. And I think with a really big .NET solution, I just think either Visual Studio or Writer is probably going to have your best experience for you. But when I originally got into C# development, I started in Visual Studio Code. And I still use Visual Studio Code quite a bit, off and on, just depending on like the day and the vibes. I've been using NeoVim only for about a year. So NeoVim was kind of the beginning of last year. That was our side quest. So kind of like the beginning of this year, we went on our Rust side quest. Last year it was NeoVim.
Did we just become
which was a
best
lot of fun.
friends?
Best, I appreciate the follow. That's very kind of you. Yeah, going back to the whole Twitch affiliateship stuff, I don't understand people who are able to make a living off of all this content creation stuff. It's unbelievable because to me it seems incredibly difficult to build a business around it or to even earn money from it. So I'm super. I might be more impressed now with streamers and content creators than I've been ever. Now having tried to stream and make content on YouTube for the last couple of years. I mean, I made content on YouTube for like 8 years straight in the early like 2011 to like 2020, right? But like yeah, I have a newfound respect for people who make a living that way. It's very impressive. What do my tests need to be for this? Yusuf applied to 20 jobs in the last 2 days as junior, got rejected 2 of them because they were towards mid-level. I don't feel upset, but I wonder if I'm doing something wrong. Nah, man, you're just getting started. 20 jobs and you got rejected by 2 of them? Dude, you're winning. I've submitted 20 applications across 2 days and didn't even get like a response from any of them. So you're winning, man. Keep going. It's a numbers game. Keep applying. Keep applying. The last job hunt I did, I think I applied to well over 500 different openings. Like I spent basically at least 2-3 hours each day submitting applications. You're knocking on doors, man. That's all you're doing. You're just knocking on doors. Knocking on doors. And you're just waiting for people to let you in, right? So you're doing fine. Don't let it discourage you. You became a software dev with primarily free code camp and what's TOP projects? But yeah, definitely free code camp. Free code camp was kind of like that base level, especially on the web development side. And then on the C# side, that was mostly like cobbled together learnings and my own projects. Yes, the Odin. So the Odin project, the Odin project was kind of like an after the fact thing. Like I had already kind of learned to code, and then I was just interested in it, so I started doing it. I haven't finished it. I think I'm like 30% of the way through it, but I started it more of just as an interest than to really like the goal was not necessarily to like complete it. It was just like, oh, I wonder what the Odin project's experience is like. But I would say I got into software primarily through my job. That like obviously I took the initiative to go and learn skills outside of work myself, but having a job for a tech company and being able to kind of like work my way over from like a non-technical role to more of a technical role, that was probably a huge advantage for me personally. It was having an entry point, right? On LinkedIn, not many job offerings for juniors, though. Any suggestions, other websites I can use to apply? I just apply on the last job search I did last year I just applied on LinkedIn and Indeed. And if I'm being completely honest, even if my qualifications didn't quite line up with what the job description said, I, I still apply, man. You just never know. You never know. Like, if you think you have a strong resume, and think you can write a strong cover letter, why not? The worst case scenario is they don't call you back. The next best case scenario is the recruiter calls you or the HR person calls you. The next best scenario is you get to have a conversation with the hiring manager. The next best conversation is you get to go into like their interview process end to end. The next best case, like, it only gets better from there. So if you don't apply, you're just you're not even up for consideration. So if it was me and you're reading a job description and you think, and it says they need someone with 5 years experience and you have 3, apply. Like, you just never know. You might be the guy, you know? You might be the guy. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? That's Wayne Gretzky. I think that was Wayne Gretzky. It was definitely Michael Scott quoting Wayne Gretzky. Oh no, my Twitch just disconnected. Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky. Brian, and remember, who writes the vacancy is the HR, not the technical person. Exactly, Brian. Right? And I mean, we all love our HR colleagues, right? We all love them. God bless them. They do an important job just like we do. But honestly, your goal should be to get to the person who's actually going to do the hiring. You hear, I'm the guy. You might be the guy. Most of the time, the job opening will have way more responsibilities than you're going to actually have or requirements. Well, in the what is it now? In the 15 years or so that I've been working professionally, I have yet to have a job where the actual
Did we just become
day-to-day
best friends?
functions of that job line up with what the job
Did we just
description
become
says.
best friends?
Says, thanks for the sub. Somebody else subbed too. Sazed and Saniro, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you need a little bit of it here, I'm gonna drop a little bit of motivation on here. I have this TikTok that I like.
Things I don't care about.
I have this TikTok that I like to watch. That's actually all my pinned TikToks have just become motivational posts. All right, listen to this one. If I can find it. Oh man, where is it? Oh man, I built it up and now I can't find it. It's so good. It will get your ass off the couch and get you applying to jobs when you hear it. Ah! You weren't quiet enough. I heard the stairs creaking. My wife tried to scare me. Brian, also, if someone follows you on Twitch, they still got to wait 10 minutes to text there. Maybe lower it down to 2. So you can't. You can't, actually. I've had this conversation once before. Well, let me show you guys, and then tell me if I'm doing something wrong. So I have it set to... I have both my chats on YouTube and Twitch set to basically followers only mode because I don't want to talk to trolls. People who like to do drive-bys. So this is followers only mode, and then there's 2 options. There's a bunch of options, but the first 2 are 0 minutes. So basically anybody can follow and then just start talking shit and then unfollow. Or you can do 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. I feel like 3 months is the appropriate time span myself, but I put it on the lowest, or the second lowest, which is 10 minutes. But if I could make it shorter, I would. YouTube, I think, is 5 minutes. Blueberry, want to try my funny physics with your cryptography? Sure. What are funny physics? I just make me a tea, kinda wanted. I don't know what you're talking about, you hear? I don't know what you're talking about. I was trying to find that motivational post. Here we go. This is it.
I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this. Every time you I'm going to hold your hand when
So every time you read a job description and you think, "Oh, I'm not the guy. I don't know." Every time you hear that imposter syndrome creeping up, right? This is what I want you to I'll share the link to it, but first you got to listen to it. Hold on to your britches.
I tell you this, every time you hesitate or overthink, someone less talented than you takes your fucking spot. Life does not give a damn about potential.
What did my wife say? Did you fake yell like I was one of the Yes, I did fake yell. But I wanted you put it in so much effort to try to scare me. I didn't want you to feel like your effort was wasted. The the stairs were too creaky. All right, hold on.
I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this. Every time you hesitate or overthink, someone less talented than you takes your fucking spot. Life does not give a damn about potential. Potential is the nicest word for hasn't done anything yet. The world rewards the one who steps forward first, even if their knees are shaking. So let this hit you like cold water on a hungover morning, and then stand up, straighten up your spine, and go act like the universe owes you a seat at the table, because it won't until you do. I'm gonna hold your...
There you go. So you got to act like you belong. No one else is going to tell you you belong. So next time you're reading a job description and you think, I don't have those skills, or I don't have enough experience, or I don't know those technologies, or yada yada yada, just remember that somebody else is going to apply, and somebody else is going to get the job. So why not you? So why not you? So if you need a little motivation to go after that thing you want, just put this in your headphones. There you go. At the end of the day, everyone's just making it up, man. Everyone's just figuring it out. And anybody who tries to portray themselves as having it figured out, they're fucking lying. They're lying to you. They're lying to you, and they're probably lying to themselves. We're all just trying to figure it out. Some of us figure it out sooner than others. Some of us get lucky. But we're all just making it up as we go. Yep. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, and you can reassure me that that I'm not alone in my opinions. Oh, this is the wrong place. No, it's that whole video, that whole speech just really speaks to me, and it speaks to my experience in the world. I've seen so many people over the course of my career get promoted and get opportunities and get put up for things that, in my mind, I think they don't deserve that, or they weren't any better than me, or they weren't any different than me. And that's the truth. But the fact is that most of the time it's because those people raised their hands and they pushed for themselves and they advocated for themselves and they self-promoted for themselves. And so if you're not excited about your work, why would anybody else be excited about it? And if you don't believe in yourself, why would anybody else? So you have to find a way to kind of be your number one fan. And honestly, most of the time, anybody who's trying to make you feel like you're less than or like you're not good enough, they're probably trying to sell you something. And the latest version of this is AI. AI is the latest version of this. You'll never be a good enough software engineer if you don't learn the AI tools. You're going to get left behind if you don't know how to use AI. Now, please buy my course for 3 payments of $19.99. Let's see. Provider dot encrypt. Wow, is it really 7 o'clock? This morning went fast. This is going to be no, this is going to be AES crypto provider. Oops. Are you missing? Oh yeah, I am missing a user. It's going to be using dot extensions. LOL, bro. I think he responded to you. What? Let's see. Last time asking, and I won't mention it again. Do you want to take 2 seconds and see if my physics math could be useful to you? Sure. Yeah, I think I did respond when you asked about where was it? You were saying something about funny physics. Yeah, I'm happy to try. I mean, obviously, if you need to communicate code to me, it's probably not the best way to do it is through YouTube chat. So if you can like link me to a place where you want the code you want me to write or the thing you want me to do with like some instructions or something, that would be helpful. But it's probably not the greatest experience for either of us for us to try to do the implementation via YouTube chat. What are you cooking? So I have it's nothing exciting, Sir Cats. It's really just a pain point that I've had in my own development life where I've implemented encrypting and decrypting a settings file on disk for several .NET applications that I've built over the last year. And the most recent one was this terminal chat app that you see on screen. Or actually, you can't see it because you're on YouTube. But I have this terminal chat app that I just recently built, and it has some client IDs and some client secrets that I have to have them there so I can connect to YouTube and Twitch, but I don't want them to just be stored on disk in plain text, which it's probably okay if they were, but ideally I would just have an easy way to store all my settings in an encrypted way and then decrypt them at use without much effort. And so after the third time of implementing that, I'm like, okay, this is dumb. I should just make this a library and tie it into the existing .NET configuration provider ecosystem. So that's what I'm writing right now. It is C#. Yep, what you hear said, it's C#. Oh, C# is very like C++. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've never written any C++. But it is a C-like language, I think, so that makes sense. A lot of people tell me C# looks a lot like Java. I've read some Java. I've never written any Java, but I can see the similarity definitely between C# and Java. But I've never written any C++ code. I always thought of it more Java-like, ironically. Yeah, see, that's what everybody's always said to me is like, that it looks like Java. which I think makes sense because what chat has educated me on over the last couple of years, or the last year or so, is that that's how C# largely came to be, was like a reaction to what was going on in the Java ecosystem. And then it like originally started as one thing and then sort of morphed over the years, and then Anders Hausberg got involved, and yeah, whole legacy there. It's still tending, but I think you will see the use. What do you mean, blueberry waffles? It's still tending. If you're posting if it's still trending, huh? I don't know what you're talking about, blueberry waffles. I'm so lost, man. I'm trying to be kind and polite to you, but like I'm so fucking lost with what you're trying to get at or what you're trying to tell me about or do. If you want me to take a look at something you build, created, or made, you should join my Discord and put the link in the Discord. And I'll just leave it at that, and then we can move on from this conversation that you're trying to have with me. I'll even put the Discord link in the chat there for you, blueberry waffles. Good morning, Tontail. How are you? Or Tontai, I guess I should say. I always want to read your name as Tontail because of the one. Blueberry waffles, thanks. Of course, yeah. Appreciate you offering up something you made. It takes a lot of courage to build something and share it with the world, so appreciate you doing that. Good morning, Kate. Good to see you again. Long time no see. How you been? What edit using? I think Sarcasm, I think you mean what editor? I'm using NeoVim. Using good old NeoVim. Should we only share open source projects, or can we use share projects we have on project? No, you can share whatever you want. I mean, I shouldn't say whatever. Please don't please don't share shady, malicious things. But if you want to show off a website you built, like a portfolio site or whatever, yeah, for sure. Or a package you made, or some set of utilities that you think other people would find useful, go for it. Kate, been super busy. Well, that's good. So you got a new chat UI? Yes, I just built this. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say I just built this. I've been building it over the last month or so, or last 2 months. In January is when I started the project, and then I stayed up till like 3 a.m. this past Friday and just hacked on it. Yeah. Everything I make is shady and malicious. Well, that's because of the space you work in. Good morning, Landry. Good to see you. Brian requested to join. Okay, let me approve. There you go. You're in, man. You're in. Welcome. Welcome to the Discord. Me sending company secrets on Discord right now. Yes, please don't share your secrets. Your personal ones or your company's. Tell people on Twitch, Sir Cat, see hello. They should be able to see you, probably. Yeah, they should be able to see you. So biased. Let's see. So we're gonna do let's see, I encryption key provider.
Did we just become best friends?
Who was that? Who subbed? Sorry, I don't have my. Oh, that was probably a follow, wasn't it, on Twitch? Or on, yeah, that was probably on Twitch. Let me look who that was. No, I don't know who that was. I don't see a sub on my stream elements. Interesting. Excuse me. Do you thinking to build malware in the future? I'm not going to build any malware. No. No, thank you. I've been working on this project for 16 months and I almost have a prototype ready. That's awesome.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hey, thanks for becoming a sub. That's super kind of you, Nate Codes. I think that's who that was. That's really, really kind of you, man. Also, that means we need to update the list. Let's see, .NET, Twitch. And then we got to update the scrolling overlay. Restart that guy, restart that guy. Yeah, .NET 11's out. Yeah, they just cut a preview. They cut a preview, I think, in like January or February. So if you're interested and want to get first looks or first tries at .NET 11, it's out. You can use it. You look like someone is hacked NASA before. Me? No, man. That I don't have those skills. Although it sounds like Kate, based on the conversations that I've had with Kate, it sounds like she may have been someone who could hack NASA or has hacked NASA. I mean, I'm not accusing her of anything. Nate's good. You betcha. Nathan had. Oh, thank you, Nate. That's very kind of you, man. Super, super kind of you. Good morning, Blackfire. Good to see you.
16K points, Pogs, you'll...
I don't know why the text-to-speech died there, but it did. I also need to figure out how to get... I need to figure out how to get those things into my... Oh, no, I guess Twitch chats come through. Text-to-speech come through. I need to figure out how to get YouTube text-to-speech to come through. Shared my project for statistics MLB. Well, thank you, Brian. Can't wait to take a look. It's very kind of you. Oh shit, it's 7 o'clock. Okay, I'm gonna try to implement one test and then I gotta run. This dang work thing, man. Don't people know that I need to stream and write code? Actually, it's probably smart that I go write some code for somebody who's actually gonna pay me to do it. Let's see. This guy needs to implement crypto provider. And then I need to extract an interface for the key provider. So let's extract an interface here. Let's rename it to crypto. I don't remember what I called it. Put it in a separate file. Whoops. There we go. What did I call it? Encryption key provider. Whoopsies. VIW, leader Y. VIW. God, I'm still so bad with my Vim motions. Rename. There we go. Okay. So now we need to actually implement this. So real quick, let's go back to our tests. And this guy's going to complain. So we'll say private read only. Mock key or encryption provider equals mock key provider equals new using mock, and then this has to go to a constructor public AES crypto provider tests, and then this needs to go to new mock key provider.object like this, and then we can run the test and they should fail. Good morning, Hellbending. Good to see you. Good morning, Bob. Good to see you. Unused. Oh, yeah. You can fix that. Fun fact, the term hacking came from the model-trained community of people who would solder parts together. Then it was used to describe programmers, and then in the 60s it was used to refer to phone phreakers. So I've definitely heard the phone phreakers thing. I had not heard about the train. That's really interesting. Model-trained community. Huh. I would have never guessed that's where the hacking term came from. So Kate, what is this project that you've been talking about? Brian, sadly, it is closed source. Still planning on monetizing, but gotta open an LLC for that. That's awesome, man. I can't wait to take a look at that. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with closed source, man. If you build something and you want to make money from it, that's totally okay. You don't have to share. I'm not one of those ethical people that think like everything needs to be open source, and if people want to make money off their software, they're somehow like bad people. I think if you put in time and effort, you're totally in the right to want to monetize and be compensated for your effort. All right, 7:15. I'm not going to get to this today. Let's see. To do. implement this shit. Let's see, what did we get done today? We did we basically did the machine ID key provider. So let's do implement machine key provider, implement logic for hashing extracted interfaces. Oh, where'd my commit go? Oh, there it is. And then let's flip on a Noku, good to see you, Noku. Hello to you as well. How about any question? Do you find yourself still writing physical notes these days or journaling and stuff like that? So I do occasionally write physical notes, but I normally take my notes not on pen and paper, but on an iPad. And I've been doing that since college. So my sophomore year of college, so when I originally started college, I took all my notes on my laptop. Then, like halfway through my sophomore year of college, I bought an iPad mini and switched to taking all my lecture notes by hand, but on an iPad mini. And I did that for the whole rest of college, and I felt like that made a big improvement in my retention of the stuff that was happening in lecture. And then in today's world, I still usually will take handwritten notes if I'm like actually studying something, like if I'm reading a book or watching a video or doing anything like that. That's typically how I'll take notes. At work, I usually take notes in either Obsidian or it depends. If it's something I want to keep, I'll take it in Obsidian. If it's something I don't really care about keeping, I'll just keep it in ZoAE. That's what I use now. Is that little notepad app that I built. Like if I'm in a meeting and someone's like, hey, I need to talk to you about something, I just open this up and I just have like stream of consciousness into the notepad. And then if it's something that I want to keep, I'll transfer it to Obsidian. If it's something I don't want to keep, I'll just throw away the text file or the markdown file or whatever have you. Why that's my system, I don't know. And then for handwritten notes, I take those in an app called Simple Note. That's the app I use on my iPad. No, I write my notes on paper in markdown format. Do you really? You're the first person I've ever heard say that. Huh. Interesting. I still take notes on paper and it's still the best form. Yeah, I'm not sure how much this is actually backed up by science, but I think that was part of the impetus of me switching to the iPad mini was I had heard at some point that like you retain information better when it's handwritten. I don't know if that's actually true, but subjectively or anecdotally, it made a difference for me. So I've kind of stuck with it. Let's see, Kate. It's a command and control system that uses Shamir's secret sharing. It uses a communication stub to use assembly to make 56,000 MOV move small bits at a time. Splits up the payload into different DLL. Since it's split up and environmentally keyed, it's strong against forensics. Then the server side communicates assembly instructions to put itself together in memory to execute a task before terminating itself. It's basically an advanced malware that'll be used in the cybersecurity field. Interesting. Very interesting, Kate. Yeah, I have no idea how to do any of that. So it sounds very complex, and I guess it makes sense why it took you 16 months to build it. We will use it to test SOC teams. Most malware that's professionally made is custom implants like I'm making. There's a legal place for us. That's cool. So you actually get to use your powers for good, and I fuck with that. Yeah, I like that. Hell, Benny, been looking into some business ideas and such. For some, let's see, for something for people that still use or want to use handwritten stuff. Nice, I like it. You hear, man, I miss old Notepad. Yeah, that's actually, so I still sometimes will use Notepad, but somebody on stream made fun of me because I use Notepad. But I still, yeah, I mean, Notepad works. Although I guess people don't like it now because it has, because they put Copilot in it, but at least they allow you to switch it off. But now that I built my own, the one thing I don't have in my Notepad app that I would like to add is find. I don't have a find and replace functionality in my Notepad app, so maybe that's something I need to figure out how to build at some point. Whoops, don't say. But yeah, now I just use my little Notepad tool. I feel like I remember better when I write notes. Yeah, that's how I feel, Bob. I feel that way. Noku, Markdown is pretty cool, and it keeps my handwritten notes probably. Well, I love Markdown. I've just never heard anybody say they handwrite Markdown. That's the first time I've had someone say that. But it makes sense. I draw arrows a lot. Like when I take handwritten notes, like I do this a lot, where I'll have like I don't know, some piece of text here, and then if something's related, I draw an arrow like that, and then some piece of text, and then maybe I got another arrow. That's one of the ways you know it's a note I took. Hypo said, Steven, do you have any idea how are these beautiful TUIs made in terminal like a proper GUI? Like how do we get the borders? Also, what do you use for the system monitor of your CPU? So the system monitor, I can help you with that, Hype Sid. One sec. So there we go. Let's see. The system monitor I use is called Bottom. And I can post a link for you there, or my bot will post a link for you there. And then as far as the beautiful TUIs, so depending on the programming language they are built in, so the one I built is in Termina, and I'm not going to say mine's pretty, because if you look at something like OpenCode next to mine, like OpenCode is gorgeous. OpenCode uses their own custom what do I want to call it? Rendering library package, whatever. They basically have the ability. They basically created this package where you can author the view in a familiar markup language like Vue or React, and then that gets transformed into something that can be rendered in the terminal. So you can basically have like a front-end developer, somebody who's really good at front-end UI, basically author it like they're building a web page, but then it renders into the terminal properly. So they use their own custom thing. I'm not sure about Claude Code, what they use. Let me see if I can find the link for OpenCode's stuff, because it's kind of interesting if you go look at the source code. Let's see, OpenCode, TUI, library. Yeah, it's called OpenTUI is the name of their package. So this is the this is pretty interesting code. That's OpenTUI. And then Claude Code used to use Ink, which is React in the terminal. There you go. Yeah, so OpenTUI kind of has the similar idea, like React in the terminal. They have bindings for multiple So they have bindings for Solid, they have bindings for React, and I think there's also some other community ones maybe out there. I thought they had a bindings for Vue in here somewhere. But you can look. I mean, you can go in here and look under the hood what they're doing and how they're doing it, and see what they take dependencies on and whatnot. And then if you're in the Go community, most people use something called Bubble Tea, which is a TUI framework for Go, which I've used once to build a simple TUI, and it is a very nice framework to work with. It's very easy to use. It's built around the Elm architecture, so it's very easy to understand like what goes where and where do you put things so that you can use their rendering lifecycle properly. So that's the Go language. If you're into Go, I'm not sure what language you write in or what things you author in. And then the one I used for this TUI, for this chat TUI, was called Termina. I don't know. I don't know how interested you would be in building something with .NET, but Termina is the one I used. But for the most part, at a high level, they're all kind of doing the same thing, right? They're allowing you to author your view in a familiar language or a familiar, I guess language is the right way, familiar language, and then they take care of transforming that into the proper terminal entries that need to be made and drawing that properly and clearing the screen and doing the diff and making it performant and efficient. I think OpenTUI is one that I would like to look more into because to me, I feel more at home authoring views in a web-based environment. I mean, and that goes for anything really, whether it be TUI or a desktop app. It just makes sense to me to build views using this type of syntax. This is the way my brain thinks, I guess. I also think it's wicked cool that you can just like you can basically write web style code and it runs in the terminal. I mean, that's pretty wild. Yeah. All right, I gotta go to work. Sorry, I realize I'm ignoring the unified chat. Caffeinated Minds. I use textual with Python. There you go. So Python, I guess textual must be a good library in Python to use for TUIs. Or is this for TUIs or what's this for? Oh, this looks like it's for cross-platform user interfaces. I don't know what people in Python use for TUIs. Hellbending Ratatouille ecosystem has a way to compile directly to WASM, which is pretty cool. That is very cool. Oh, that's the Rust. That's the Rust TUI framework, right? This was the one Oblivion said I needed to try at some point. Honestly, at this point, I'm running out of ideas to try this stuff on. I just, you know what I mean? I don't even know what to build with any of it. Gotta keep my ideation going. Correct. It's phenomenal. The website has 3 tutorials. Oh yeah, I guess I could do the tutorials. Just not as fun as building your own thing, you know? This tutorial will guide you through setting up a Rust project, organizing its structure for a Ratatouille-based application to edit JSON key value pairs. That might be fun. Okay, I could definitely get into that. Huh. I'll have to bookmark this. Let's see. Go back to the first. Whoops. I guess that wasn't the right. JSON. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm a little Rust build, honestly. I'm trying not to be the guy who just like wholesale pivots to becoming a Rust dev the first time he learns Rust, but I am. YouTube just disconnected. No, I think Twitch just disconnected again. Man, my internet's been giving me trouble this week. Nah, it's time. Hard pivot. Ugh. I'm a Rust developer now. I've got a long ways to go before that. Before I can say that. All right. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful, what is it, Tuesday? I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. And I'll be back tomorrow morning. And maybe I'll see you around in some shorts that I post later today. And probably need to sit down and try to make another video. It's been a little bit since I made a video. Yeah. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Good to see you, James. AI rules. Nifty nomad. Hey, Steven. What I was wondering is one of your boys showing an interest in technology and programming. Seems like an amazing hobby to share between father and son, building something together. So yeah, I basically the deal I have with both my sons right now is if they want a PC, because they play a lot of video games, which I love. I like video games, and my wife likes video games. They play a lot of video games, but they follow some people on YouTube who they like to watch game, and a lot of those guys play on a PC, and they know that. And so I told both my boys that if they want PCs, that I will buy them for them, but they need to learn to code. So if they learn to code, I'll buy them a PC. Um, my oldest son asked me for the first time over spring break about learning to code. So I started him off on free code camp. And he spent, I don't know, he probably spent 5 hours over spring break going through like the very first HTML courses on free code camp. And it seemed like he was enjoying it. I've just always taken this approach as a father not to push my hobbies onto the kids. I've always just let them, which is completely different than how I grew up. You know, my dad and mom were very much like, you're going to do sports, lots and lots of sports, all the sports, which I ended up loving. But I've taken much more of a laissez-faire of like, I'm just going to allow them to pick what they're interested in, and all I'm going to do is be a cheerleader for that interest. And my oldest son is super into sports. My youngest son's not super into sports. He's really into video games. They both like to read. So we'll see if technology and computers and things. I'm gonna try to buy the Mark Rober Hack Pack. I don't know if you've seen that. So maybe that will pique their interest in it a little bit more. But definitely, I would love to build something with them. I think it'd be a blast. Help them write a mod for something to play. That's a great idea. Yeah. I think we tried the first time I tried to introduce my oldest son to code was using Minecraft mods, but I think he was too little because like we were in the Eclipse editor and I think he might have been like 5 or 6 years old. He was just too little, and the feedback loop between like making the mod and actually getting to use the mod was too long. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to encourage them if they're interested in it. I will more than happy spend all day building with them, but I've taken a much more hands-off approach to their interests and just trying to push them to pursue the thing that lights them up, and continue. I'll just continue to do that over the course of their life. All right, guys. work time for me. If you're new here and you want to come back and hang out in the future, you can find me live on Twitch or YouTube most mornings from 4:15 to about 7 o'clock, or maybe a little later, plus or minus 15, 20 minutes. And then if you want to hang out outside of the stream, the best place to find us is Discord. I'll put that in the chat as well. But you're welcome back anytime. Good to see you here. You're here. You have a good day, man. If you know that, amazing. My dad was also the one who gave me the Visual Basic book, self-study book back in the 90s, Define My Life. That's wonderful, man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to try to just continue to share my interests with them, but just not push them too hard on it. But yeah, that'd be awesome if we could do stuff like this together. All right, y'all. Have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good to see you, Bob. Thanks for being a member, man. Appreciate you. All right, bye, guys. Bye. Okay, bye. See you guys. Have a good day.